Welcome to Center of Light. Good to see you. Tonight, Tiffany Bramble suggested I ask for some show subjects. Not sure if the well's dry. Tiffany Bramble suggested predestination, center of light, fate, predestination. What a crazy subject. Might be a little challenging, but I'm definitely going to have fun with it. Predestination. That which is determined to be so. But there's a lot of so what in there. It's ironic. It's a paradox. Predestination and choice. Deep into the rabbit hole we go. The Matrix. Hello, Gail. Hello, Robert. Hello, Michelle. Dana, Link, Sana, Leah, Lee. Anna Yoga. What's up, Anna? Juan Perez. Tony Meharry. Center of Light, Fate. Hello, Rena. Hello, Kelly. I love these things right here. It helps me to see the tribe. Everything's backwards, so it's just so awkward. Hello, tribe. Center of Light, Fate, Predestination. Lots of twists and turns, metaphorically. Wow, predestination. Lavender Soul is now selling CDs for $5. Lavender Soul CDs, $5. You pay for the shipping. $5 in the shipping. You want Lavender Soul? I got tons of CDs for sale. I want to move them. Why not put this beautiful, predestined fate music in your hand, life, lap, consciousness, heart? Hello, everyone. My sister, Rena, asked the question or made a statement. Both. She said today, I would like to know how to help in this present situation of the world. I was doing spiritual work at a nursing home and that has been taken away. Any suggestions for helping? I am somewhat at a loss or of a loss to serve. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I would say start off in meditation and ask, how do I serve in a way that brings me joy? Just simply want that answer. I'm ready. I'm willing. My Yah is intact. My fire, God that lives in me, is ready. My mind is clear. I'm ready. My backbone is erect. I am ready. That kind of place. What should I be doing to help the betterment of the all? That brings me joy in doing it. That would be your clarion call. Hello, Jimmy Mancini. That would be the clarion call. Is to go inside, and you don't have to be there for 30 minutes. It may take an hour. Be willing to go the distance. And in the willing to go the distance actually shortens the path. Where you start, where you hope to be, choice or predestiny, right? Here you go. This is already beginning to happen. Thank you for the trigger question, Rena. And thank you for the show suggestion, Tiffany. Center of Light, Fate. Predestination. This is where I am. I'm posing a beautiful, powerful, burning, yearning, churning, turning inside of me to the higher up. This is what I want. I want to be of service, and in doing it in such a way, it brings me absolute joy. When we're willing to ask that question for however long it takes to get an answer, truly willing to ask that question, and to be locked in, not locked down, but locked in so fervently that you're willing to take 1,000 years if that's what it took. It will bring it to you in a holy instant, in a magic, holy, spiritual moment. That's the place you launch from in the question, in the beseeching, in the asking of your divine parent. It'll become apparent. I would say it's going to look a lot like what you love. Exactly, it's going to look exactly like what you love. What do you love doing? How do you vision yourself giving back? Is this moment in your life posing such a question? Was it predetermined? Or is it a choice that you made recently? And is there a difference between the two? Now you see my conundrum. Is it possible they both exist? I know the answer. Do you? I get to choose, but if it was always destined to be, what heck purpose does my free will choice matter or make? Maybe just for the sake of it. And now your life has come one of all of ours. Push comes to shove it. Simply just rise above it by posing such a beautiful question to yourself. What would I love to do? How could I see giving back? And do it. In a way that's financially in alignment with what you need to do. But then again, if you got to spend a little coinage to make it happen, and you feel good with that, run with it. Because is it choice or is it predestination? And if you're willing to wait 1,000 years to get an answer, it literally brings the 2 points, the beginning, the alpha, and the end, the omega, into the center point, which is the 0 point, gravity, the garden, the God gate, the spiritual gate. And money just naturally shows up. I do what I do, and people generously give to my beautiful work, our beautiful work. So in the same way, likewise, if we're willing to wait 1,000 years to get an answer, it shortens, it hastens its arrival. Same, if you do what you want to help other people so passionately, sincerely, humbly, and vulnerably, it happens in a holy instant, just like that. Find what you love to do, Rena. Everyone, find what you love to do. Give back to the world. Link asked, I think it was Link, someone last night asked, no, it was Lewis. I think it was Lewis. He said something about raising your vibration. Oh, he offered a suggestion for a show subject title, subject at least, and how to keep your vibration up. One way you can move to the next level, the next phase, the next phrase in this story called your life, which is only a small chapter in the book of eternity, the book of love. One way you can raise your vibration is be of absolute service. As much as you can, all you can, to the hilt. And I know you can. Service is the highest calling. People who are in the service industry, they wait tables, they're in the highest calling. All forms of service, to be of assistance to someone else, whether you're getting paid or not. Because getting paid monetarily, money, is no different than you getting paid as a karmic reward for helping other people. So money is not a bad thing. It's part of the beautiful karma that is bestowed upon you when you have service. Service is one way to get your vibration up. The more service you do, the more you level off at this plateau. This is your new vibrational tone. You are walking now in graceful ambiance. Is your life truly one of graceful ambiance? When you step into your life, do you hear Om? Every step you take forward, inward is upward, upward is forward, toward something. Every step you make, do you see lotus petals growing beneath your feet? It's a very powerful, simple question. Do you feel deserving or worthy of it? Do you live in graceful ambiance? When you live in graceful ambiance, you begin to hear a song, an ongoing song around you all the time. Hello, Errol Bourgeois. Hello, Heather. So, center of light fate is what we're speaking about tonight. Center of light always, but the new word for tonight is fate. Title of the subject of the show is predestination. Is there such thing as predestiny? Is there such thing as free will choice? Very paradoxical. Can they both possibly exist? It's exactly what they do. They coexist. And one is not more dominant than the other. There's an allowance, a relationship of an allowance. Predestiny allows free will to exist. Free will knows that predestiny will always happen. In fact, predestiny is not a happening at all. Predestination is not a happening at all. Smoked on that pipe. I'll say that one more time. Predestination is not a happening. It's not an event that happens in the future. Predestination is that which is. So the predestination is not something that's going to come about, because that something is called the infinite truth, and it always is. Predestination applies to your free will choice and the choices you're going to make, to remembering and going back to, in a conscious state, to that which already is. So predestination is about the choices one makes between where they are and where they hope to be as their most beautiful possibility. The train from New York to California is going to happen. Now, the conductor may take an alternate route, but ultimately, the train will end up in California. So, train to California is absolutely going to happen. That's predestination. The conductor making the choices of how he's going to get there is free will. So, being the conductor of your life, woo, woo, where is the momentum of what you know as you pointed to? What is your direction? Where are you going? What do you want? How bad do you want it? Are you willing to want it so bad that you're willing to lose it for 1,000 years? Knowing that at the end of this 1,000-year cycle, you get what you have been wanting. Are you willing to take the first step? Taking the first step means you've taken 50 steps, 50% of the steps, 500 years. Now you have 500 years to do what it may require or not do what you've been doing to hasten its arrival into the station. Predestiny is not a linear timeline experience, except for the human mind. Predestination is not a place in the future that we hope to arrive to. We have to arrive or to rise to the occasion. And in every level up we achieve, the awakening, ascension, conscious expansion process exponentiates. And when we finally get to this predestination, something we started before, destined, a place we hope to be, nation, the entire human collective consciousness, bringing itself to this glorious train station that we call the train to Ascensionville. And it's leaving the station. And people still have time to run and get on board. Some people are not going to be so lucky. I'm going to be right back. We're going to get into the thick of it. Center of light fade. I'm going to do my best to lay this out simply for myself. I'll see you shortly.
Surely as the rain may fall, I wonder why. Worried there'll come a time when my world is dry, oh so dry. In the summertime I won't have no water. It's a little bit harder to take. Lonely as I contemplate a billion stars, leaving my hands to fate. That's all I've got, all I've got. In the summertime I won't have no water. It's a little bit harder to take.
Welcome back to Center of Light. Tonight we are talking about predestination, center of light, fate. Robert, again, as I'm looking into this screen, I see this beautiful altar that you, by your love offering, helped me fashion. Thank you. Crazy, man. I love your spirit, man. Linda. Hi, C. Megan, Michael, Sana, Andrea, Linda Chapman, Webb, Brooke. Tonight we're speaking about predestination. Free will, predestination. Which one is it, Keith? That is the paradox. That is the riddle of the universe. It's never a this or that. Anytime we find ourselves in a this or that scenario, we immediately create question. We immediately create a riddle. We immediately bog ourselves in mire. We plant ourselves in something that we don't know. So to be back in the garden, we have to get out of creating such simple, almost non-answerable questions. It's not a this or a that. It's the other, which is they both exist. It's a paradox. It's ironic. It's cray-cray. So now let's get into the thick of this presentation. Center of light, fate, predestination. I want to acknowledge everyone here, which is one of my favorite things to do. Let me go into this from Dana, Linda, Link, Andrea. Y'all stick around. I'm going to play a song by Andrea Forrest here in a little bit. I'm going to drop her link to her website. She's got some wonderful music. See Megan Michael, Sana, Robert Harrison on YouTube. Let's see, Rena Kelly. I'm going to keep moving forward. Some reading from the Divine Principle, but I want to give you also Lavender Soul CDs, the music you just heard in my spiritual band. $5. $5 plus shipping. I'll start sending these CDs out like love nuggets. The definition. No one can escape a definition of Webster's. You can't do it. It's common across the board. It applies to all languages, all creeds, all codes, all sects. Doesn't matter. Definition of predestination. As a doctrine in Christian theology, the divine foreordering of all that will happen, especially with regard to the salvation of some and not others. I don't believe that. Maybe not this go around, but it applies to everyone as well. Every sinner has a future, every saint has a past. It has been particularly associated with teachings of St. Augustine of Hippo and of Calvin. Okay, from my bestseller, The Divine Principle, Anchoring Heaven on Earth. This is the beginning of my attempt to enlighten, literally, myself about this idea. My dialogue with God for over 8 years, Spirit says, this is an attempt. I wouldn't say it's an attempt, this is Spirit speaking. So I'm going to get out of the way and just read it. Enlightenment is the process of awakening. Awake is the constant awareness that happens as a result of any true understanding. So we're moving down the timeline. Once you realize something, basically time stops because you go into the infinite. Once you realize something, it can never be unrealized, for it is impossible to do away with what you know. Your ongoing expansion just keeps on going. And I ask Spirit, what will happen after I awaken? Keep in mind, we're speaking about predestination and free will. And I ask, what will happen after I awaken? You will find yourself in another reality, another dream that will continue. Free will choice. The train is definitely going from New York to California. It depends on the conductor and the route he wants to take. The predestination or the destination, which is the truth that will always exist. So it's not a linear experience whatsoever. What is linear about it is the choices we make using the clarity of mind or not. Clarity of mind hastens the arrival. Distortions prolongs it. What will happen after I awaken? You will find yourself in another reality, another dream, that will continue until you graduate to dreamer status, God realization. You mean there's more work I have to do after I awaken? As I said before, Keith, my reality is for those who really want it. Yes, predestination, free will. This is the fire right here. Yes, the road is a long one, and it will take time. Rena? Yes, the road is a long one and it will take time, but that road will eventually lead you to eternity. And when you get there, all of your struggles will be forgotten. This is what I was sharing with you earlier, Rena, or in everyone. Whatever it is you want to bring forth, be willing to wait for 1,000 years, and it will only take 1,000 seconds. Continuing with my presentation tonight, reading from the Divine Principle about explaining the truth of the two hypotheses, the two principles, the two realities, the two possibilities of predestination and free will choice. Because it sounds like, from a logical point of view, that if there is predestination, then you really don't have free will choice. And that actually is somewhat true. You don't have free will choice. Well, Keith, how is that possible? I make choices every day. You don't really have free will choice. The only free will choice you have is one choice. Other than that, you have none. So what would that one choice be? You can either be in the flow of the cosmic current consciously, or you can be in the cosmic current unconsciously, and the very smooth river will turn into turbulent rapids. That's the only choice you have. Everything falls under these two possibilities. But predestination almost wants to cancel that one choice that you have out as well. Because if it's predetermined, how do I have a say-so in the matter in the first place? Free will choice will only allow you the dividends to be in the current C, or the currency, the dividends, and you simply float to the top of the river. You don't drown in the turbulence because you know how to lay atop and become buoyant, and the current lovingly pushes you along. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Or if you fight the current, free will choice is used in an unbalanced ratio. That was Swamji that stepped in. I did say last night, well, I didn't. Yanava mentioned that in the very near future, I'm no longer going to set things up as I'm going into vessel mode. In such a way, you may see things in this room, things around this, me, you, with your eyes. It's really you. It's your perception. It's not me at all. Someone else can be sitting here. But the fact that all of us in tune together cyclically begin to vibrate in harmony is going to begin to exponentiate the opening up of the collective third eye. But for you, it's really about you. You don't care about the collective. You're worried about your own eye. And so therefore, your eye is going to open up with potential depending on how much everyone is willing to truly see and be with themselves. The louder the noise out here gets, the quieter in here the bliss gets. So, there is no more time. Freedom or slavery. Cheatum or bravery. So my point is, I felt Swamji step in and say, proper ratio. You may ask, why do I, meaning God, you may ask, why do I not solve the world's problems? This is explaining more about Center of Light Fate. Tonight's show is Predestination. Spirit says, you may ask why I do not solve the world's problems. The answer, I do address them, but not by waving my hand to remove them. For that would only negate my unconditional love. That is predestination. It always is. The love that allows everything to be just as it is. If I were to step in, this was vesseled in 1996. If I would, applies to today, if I were to step in and immediately solve the calamities that you have created, all actions, development, and evolution would stop. And if a greater need should arise, all of creation would collapse with its law of cause and effect in place. The solutions you seek will come about when everyone becomes willing to be stripped of all that is impure and to be rebuilt into conscious beings. Only then will you be able to rise above your troubles, free will choice gone wrong, and create a world of love, peace, and unity. The world is in its predicament not because of what God has made of man, but what man has made of himself. Again, back to definitions. The definition of unconditional love. Unconditional love is predestiny. For us, it's predestination because we're living in the linear time zone. We're definitely living in the twilight zone. And we're slowly but surely moving out of it or further into it. Further into the illusion and the nightmaric and the limbo and the purgatory nature of being lost in some realm of pure possibility. But the human being is more often than not lost in the conundrum in his head. Hello, Suzanne. Hello, David Holland. Hello, Mitzi Stockard Gentry. So back to definitions. Definitions paint a beautiful picture that which there is no escape for anyone. You can't escape from Webster or whatever definition in any dictionary. You can't. It is a collective consciousness agreement. Well, Keith, I didn't agree to that. Yes, you did. That's why those people, Webster's and whoever the like, were the elected ones to write this book that we all agreed that that would be the role Webster's and the group of Webster's would play to bring about our absolute core resource for the human language. You can never take that away. So setting it up this way, hello Carolyn, the definition of unconditional. Tonight's presentation is Center of Light Fate, Predestination. I should have said predestination / free will, but definition of unconditional, without conditions or reservations, absolute. Definition of absolute, not limited, unconditional, entire, pure. Spirit continues, I ask you to absorb these two definitions, for they best describe my demeanor, predestination, that which it always is, and the manner in which I conduct all my business. My entire existence is based on the principle of allowance that gives you the free will to choose your life, reality, and destiny. It will not do anyone any good to be angry. This was 1996, and here we are in 2020. Listen. It will not do anyone any good to be angry or judgmental about what has happened or even what may happen. Do not harden your hearts to the point that you do not trust any worthy ones who may enter the political arena. If you look to any of them with the intention of finding fault, that will be your own fault. On the other hand, if you forgive both them and yourselves for whatever you perceive as your shortcomings, you will see that it is my intervention, that third component, the Trinity. It is my intervention that enabled you to select and accept new leadership and guidance. I asked the question, so what can we do to speed things up? From free will to destiny, to predestination, that which it always is. And I asked the question, so what can we do to speed things up? It's a beautiful question and it fits this perfectly. I just grabbed some text and threw it on the page. And Spirit says, Keith, you need to change your logic. Most people believe that if they vote for the least bad one, they will keep the worst one out. This reasoning will not work because even if you vote for the better, or shall I say the one not as bad, you are still helping a controlling system stay alive. I want to change the music. There we go. Here is what I suggest you to do. You can simply choose not to vote. You have that choice. I don't vote. People say, Keith, how do you make a difference without voting? I'm doing it right now. I am voting right now. Hello, Steve Stone. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Kim Gary. I'm voting right now. I'm sitting in my chair and I'm constantly cranking the crank, voting for who I want in the highest office. So, likewise, here's what Spirit suggests we all can do if we simply want to reach that space. You can simply not choose to vote unless and until there are worthy candidates to vote for. You need not buy into a bad system that depends on you to stay afloat. And I ask the question, what if no one votes? Someone will step up anyway to be a mouthpiece for power. How many people, I ask, how many people are actually in control, and what is it they really want? You ready for this? This was vesseled in 1996. How many people are actually in control, and what is it they really want? There are only a few, and what they want most is what no one else has. And I ask, what would that be? Something beyond money. They print it. It ain't money what they want. It looks like money, and you may be convinced that it's the billionaires club that are the bad people. Hello, Nori. Hello, Vicky. The billionaires club, let's use that term because we're human. Let's call it good and bad, just for the sake of. Those bad people are not billionaires. They don't need more money. They're using their money for something else. Because if they were truly those bad people, just in it for the money, they would keep reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting and reinvesting. I'm not saying all of them are, but just those bad ones. So it goes beyond the money. The power hungry starvation, the starvation for power begins to take over. And then they realize that there's something else beyond the money. That's when it becomes a very wicked situation. So Spirit says they're wanting something beyond money, beyond oil, beyond property or power. They already have that. What they want is galactic power. I have said many times that what is transpiring, though it looks like human, and it does operate and move through human vessels, is not human at all. I'm not going as far as to say that these people, if you peel their skin off, they're going to have a lizard face with slant eyes. That's not what I'm saying. Some of that might be true. But overall, what I'm saying is many people in the rich club, and you're not allowed in. Many people in the rich club, they want that beyond which they already have, which is more power. It's far beyond the money. It's far beyond the oil. It's far beyond the land. They understand no one owns the land. They're not interested in the land. This is about galactic power. And as I've said in the past, is that what this is about is not only these on the earth that want galactic power, is the galactic beings that have influenced the others that are in the seat of power. And that seat of power became a comfortable one, and they started to misuse it and abuse it and use it in such a way that not only do they want galactic power, the ones that are already galactic, they want something else. They want cosmic power. This is truly Star Wars in full effect. Hello, Angela LeBlanc. So I will keep reading. There are only few, and what they want most is what no one has. And I say, what would that be? Something beyond money, oil, power, property, or power they already have. What they want is galactic power. Keith, I know you have seen the first, listen to this, the first Indiana Jones movie, and I'm here to tell you that its story is not that far removed from what is taking place right now. And I say, really, how so? As the movie depicts, the quest for power reaches far beyond Earth, and there are those few who will stop at nothing to get their hands on it. So, to keep such a thing from happening, as it did in the movie, the Spirit of God is constantly moving in cycles and staying ever vigilant. That was delicious. Again, I question, why do you put so much faith and energy into a system that binds you? And I say, I don't know what to say except that's what we've always done. Besides, there are many who would say that we still have a pretty good government. And Spirit says, you are missing the point, Keith. Why do you need someone else to control you? Can you not control yourselves? And I say, I see what you mean. There are many who say that they love their government and country, even though they harbor past life memories of those they love being persecuted by one power establishment or another. They may not realize it yet, but deep in their hearts, they too desire a dramatic change. Yes, in times past, power junkies engaged in all sorts of atrocities. They succeeded in putting an end to nations, exterminating races of people you have not even known about, and murdering countless individuals. They crucified Jesus, assassinated Abraham Lincoln, John and Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and stomped out the fire of many others who were trying to build a better world. Do the research and confirm for yourself what is the few in power are still seeking, if found, will enable them to govern the destiny of the whole world. When you do, I hope you are sitting down, because what will be revealed may knock you for a loop. And I say, sounds very interesting. So it is, my friend. So it is. If and when you source this out, I will lead you to the knowledge that best serves you. As I have said before, not everyone in positions of power wants more and cares about the struggle for it. Any member of the clergy or any political person who operates from a selfless heart serves me sincerely. My children of the light eternal, I say to you, I know that you believe in God, but if you want me to help you shape the world into something more worth living in, it is not enough to simply believe in me. You must know me as I know you, and I know that I am ready to do what I have always done. Work through ordinary people just like you, who are making themselves available to anchor the divine principle. Wow. That was such a beautiful, delicious piece of poetry on my lip. Center of light fate. Is it predestination? Does it exist? Or do we have free will? It's both. The train is, as a matter of fact, going to California from New York. Now the driver, the conductor, woo, woo, after he gets his momentum going, he can choose any track, any bio track, your meat suit, any track, eventually between now and eternity, which never ends. In fact, it never started. So you really never left the train station in the first place. You're just playing a game on your mind that would be free will choice. So predestination is not a decision or a future event. Predestination is the tone. It would be the sound. There you go. Predestination is the sound current that holds everything past, present, and future and into forever, into vibrational space, factually, reality, truthfully, there's nothing else. Light would be free will choice. I'm a light being. I can choose to wake up at 9. I can go to work. I can go to the park. I can eat this food or that food. I can make this choice, hasten my arrival to my predestination, which is the place you never really left in the first place. Or I can continue my unconsciousness simply because I like being unconscious. I like playing the game. I like being human. I like eating human food. I like being a carnivore. I like practicing vegetarianism and veganism because I'm now wanting to go back to the garden. Whatever your dynamic is, they both are true. And if they both are true, it's still not. Here's one choice and here's another. And if they both are true, then it makes them the same coin. So how many coins do you have? One. So what it is, you have one choice and you have another choice, and the third choice brings everything back to the center point, which is there is no predestination and there is no free will choice. Everything is truly going to unfold because every timeline, every dimension, every frequency, every reality, every truth, every bandwidth always exists eternally. That is predestination. It's truly how you bounce around and how you choose to connect the dots. You can connect the dots like this. Or you can draw a straight line and truly arrive. That is the preciousness and the beauty of the human dynamic. Everyone is going back home. Not when you die. Don't kid yourself for a moment just because you think that when you leave this mortal body, this impermanent situation, that you're going back to God. Believing such a thing will prolong your going back to God fully and consciously. Just because you die doesn't mean that you reach the apex of the it of it all. You are in a heavenly state and greater degrees of bliss. There's always more. God is infinite, isn't it? There's always more. Always more. Always more. And then guess what? It doesn't end. There's always more. But to reach that level of consciousness of the predestination, which is not a future event, which is always is, holding everything together, you have to be willing to sit and wait for 1,000 years for it to show up in 1,000 seconds. That idea I just painted is everything you can possibly imagine that it takes, and everything you can possibly imagine that it's beckoning you to stop doing. Yes, Vicky, it is a zero. Nothing. In the nothing is predestination. When you start adding one, then you say, I'm going to go to California from New York and only make one detour. You add two, which is three now, because zero is not a number. Zero is a concept. Zero is the truth. So you add one. Now you got 0 and 1. That's 2. You keep adding this. It's almost a lag and an expansion. So these become riddles every time you detour from your straightforward, single-pointed focus destination. And that's okay. Some people on vacation like to take the scenic route. Some people like to take those little side streets into those little towns and villages that you can never see such deliciousness, right? So in that regard, in that way, it's beautiful to be human because you can take your time to get back to no time. Nothing is required of you. The predestiny will always exist. No one is exempt for it because in fact, you have never left it. Never left it. And it's impossible. How could you sever the generator, the source of not where you come from, the source of where you are, because the source of what is embodies the everything. So you are still truly at the pinnacle of creation itself. You are the creator and the creation and that which perceives creation as a spectator. There's more to you than you realize. Creator, creation, spectator, spectator of creator, creator, creation. And this thing begins to turn within itself into such a crazy level. It begins to explode to infinite levels and infinite degrees. And then you just become simply a brilliant, ongoing burst of predestination. Light. So, predestination is real. Your life has been painted. And the predestiny of that life that has been painted is your end result is going to be absolutely deliciously beautiful. That you can count on. You can take that to the bank. How are you going to spend your currency? Are you going to spend it in the current of being able to see? Or are you going to go spiritually bankrupt and find yourself flat on your ass? And guess what? We fall down to learn how to no longer fall down. So in that way, your falling down is actually one of the most beautiful parts of your process, is it not? Because without the falling down, there would be no point for you to ever be born. Because you were in the garden of no mistake, no sin. People here understand. Telepathically, we all get along. And everyone has their predestination, at least to that point, until we graduate higher. Everyone has their universe. Everyone has their world. Like in the movie with Robin Williams, What Dreams May Come. Look on the internet right now when this presentation is done. If you have not seen this movie, and for a refresher course, if you have, look up What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. This is truly what it's like. Center of light, fate. Do you think that you made a free will choice to come here and listen to this? You did. Does it seem like those choices you think you selected led you here? It's very gray. But the white and the expansion and the light of it all is, it's both. Maybe you had those choices not because because you think you chose them. Maybe the one choice you made was to be open so that you can hasten the arrival of your destination. And so it sounds like, go put on Keith's live feed tonight. Or go to the store today and all of a sudden you come back home and you meet your love partner. Or someone offers you a job. Which is it? Good luck figuring that shit up. And Tiffany put it on me. Everyone, thank you very much. Danielle says, what's the name of the movie again? Robin Williams is the actor, and Cuba Gooding Jr. The title of the movie is What Dreams May Come. I'm warning you, Danielle. Have some tissue next to you. What dreams may come. Thank you, Vicky. Everyone's center of light. That's a big, full, empty subject. Predestination. Fate. It's true. Fate is true. That which is going to happen is not going to happen, but it already is. It will always be forever. So it's truly the end result, which is the beginning result, which is beyond the time itself. It's the infinite fact, the infinite truth, that which is the anchor that moors and holds the universe together. That would be sound. And light can be seen as the choice. I'm an individual. I'm an embodiment of God, the light. And I've been given the blessing of free will choice. Free will choice does not mean what most people think. You only have one choice. And that choice is to be in the cosmic current consciously or not. Everything else are fractals, fragments, and figments of that one choice. The only choice you have is to be in the conscious life stream or the unconscious life stream. Well, there's no unconscious life stream. You can either be in the life stream consciously or unconsciously. So really the only choice you have. The other choices, we're trying to kid ourselves because we're in denial. I think tomorrow night I'm going to do a presentation on divine incarnations. Swamiji, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Anandamayi Ma, Paramahansa Yogananda, Mihir Baba, Sadhguru, Satya Sai Baba, so forth and so on and so forth and so on. You are loved beyond measure. It is truly a treasure and my pleasure to play in the garden of forever with you. We're back home. And it feels just like this. Listen. That's that music I talked about earlier. Everywhere you step, a lotus flower arises. There's a signature song. Everyone has a theme. And for the sake of this example, it sounds like this. It's just forever. And in the distance, you hear children laughing and playing. In fact, you even hear an ice cream truck. You smell freshly cut grass. The sun is out. The temperature is oh so perfect. It's 72 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever. 70 degrees, 60, whatever's your favorite temp. You smell food in the distance. Someone asks you to do something, and you say, I would love to. And you ask someone to do something for you, and they say, I'll see you in 5 minutes. And there's a light spring shower, and the concrete has this particular smell that you cannot mistake, like that very freshly cut grass. Children are flying kites. Adults doing what adults do in a balanced way, or not, to a degree that allows them to be and deserving that they've earned and paid their dues to be adults. This is where we're going. And this place exists in feeling, not in seeing. And when we feel that into existence, then we will see the world change right before our very eyes. Troy Abear, my old school friend. What's up, Cooney? Hello, Tamara. My name is Keith Anthony Blanchard. Yanava. Ya, heart, God, will, power. Not the mind in balance, discernment. Right thought. That which is balance. No ooh, ah, ah. It's about me, about me, about me. It can still be about you when it's about other people. But I also understand that it needs to be about you first. And in a very honest way, when it's truly about you first, not out of an egoistic and a selfishness kind of way, which actually everything is truly selfish. Even in your unselfishness, you are truly being selfish because you're making the choice to be unselfish because you're making it about you to not be selfish. But you get my point. That's using the mind correctly. The backbone, when it's erect, taking responsibility, and has the ability, and I don't mean because you have the ability to use your legs, you can still be in a wheelchair and have a correct va. Ya, na, va. Yaha, naha, vaha. Ancient sacred seed syllables of your soul's name. Yaha, naha, vaha. And in such a way, you're complete. From bones to soul. Yaha. I am in a state of liberation because I have conscious communication with my divine parent. I'm using my mind, my free will choice, to be with predestination. That which is always designed for me. In fact, that which is reality. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes, vaha, the backbone, to carry it out. And if carrying it out means it will take me 1,000 years, I'm going to sit my ass down on this yoga mat or this rock in a cave of samadhi, meditation, coming together with God, and start my process and loving every freaking moment of it. When you have such a fire, tenacity, cojones, tits, muster about you, passion, sincerity, humility, and vulnerability. These four are the power tools anyone across the world, across every religion, across every creed, code, or sect It's available to everyone. In fact, there is no other way. Sounds bold, sounds arrogant. It doesn't matter to me. The truth is not arrogant. The truth is the truth. And the truth is that there are definitely 4 components, which are one set of 4 components. Check this out. 4. Passion, sincerity, humility, vulnerability. That's 4. God, the only one. The only thing that ever exists. I'm omnipresent. 2 is God and something other than God. That's a perception. That's free will choice. 3 is the Trinity, which rectifies all of that and brings it to the 4, which is conscious universal power that turned within itself through the linear dance of free will choice from the beginning, Alpha, and the Omega, the end, which is Alpha, 1, Omega, Alpha, the straight line between your life and the Alpha. So you have Alpha, your life, and the Omega. And then you have the aha, the realization that happens from your life. That's the 4th component. That is called cosmic, divine, infinite, eternal power. 4 makes up the father and the mothership. My mothers and my father mothers. Are you climbing aboard the mother starship? Back to the cosmic stars of your family. We're all in this together. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. Peace, love, and you're the light. There is nothing else. I will see you tomorrow night. You're loved beyond measure. Do you hear that? Listen. In that empty space is everything and beyond what you can imagine. Hasten your 1,000 years. Be willing to walk that bridge and cross that bridge to your soul. You are loved beyond measure. Good evening.